People have asked exactly how I use these silk screens on my clay. This is leather hard clay, and I have painted these underglazed blue circles. I have made these silk screens. The key to the silk screen is to immerse it in water and then put it between 2 layers of terry cloth toweling and let it sit there for a few minutes. You want it to be perfectly dry with no standing water on the screen, but pliable, and the emulsion is tacky, which enables it to stick very nicely to the clay, as it's doing here. If you don't do that, the screen is stiff and slippery. This is particularly important if you're using it on bisque, but it also helps tremendously if you're using these pieces on even leather hard clay. It works as well this same way on cardstock and fabric. The tacky emulsion side adds a little bit of stability as you're pushing the medium, whether it's paint on cardstock or fabric, or in this case, black underglaze. As you can see, I use a paint shaper with a very soft tip, not the hard tip. Find what works best for you as you're doing this. And you just push the medium, push this underglaze. And as you can see, I like this underglaze to be very thick and creamy. The same thing is true with paint. If the paint is too watery, you'll get smudges. But if the paint is nice and thick, as is this underglaze, you will get a very nice image. And you can just keep going over it, spreading the underglaze. It uses very little, actually. You'll see in a minute. You can just squeegee it. The other thing I'm trying to use recently, I've picked up a tip from the rubber stampers. If you have a huge area to silk screen, it might be best, maybe I'll try that on this one, to use a piece of cosmetic foam. I'm going to go back and cut this one. I used this on blue, and I really don't want to use the already used one. So, I'm cutting it. Cut the end of it off, and now I'm going to take the underglaze that I had on this screen and squeegee it onto this screen. Oh, made a mess. Waited too long. At any rate, I think maybe I'll go back to my original applicator. It would work if this item were flat, but because it's shaped the way it is, and large, and the screen is drying on me, I think this is the way to go. But I have used the cosmetic sponge, and it has worked. I'm trying to work fairly quickly so that the screen doesn't dry too quickly and lose its tackiness, which helps, especially on a surface such as this. What I'll do is this on the smudgy parts is when it dries, I will just scrape off any parts I don't really want. But as you can see, it just works great. And you'll see in a minute what it will look like. Done the other side. And this particular silk screen is a sketch of a little village. So it's not as crisp and clear as this image will be, because it's just designed to be a sketch on top of the circles. Okay, here we go, almost there. My vessel is a little concave right at this point, so it's tricky, but it really wouldn't work if I hadn't wet it. The fact that I wet it and dried it made it nice and tacky, and it pretty much stays in place. And of course we don't need to have, excuse my cats in the background having their daily romp. As you can see, it's nice not having to have a screen, a wooden frame. These pieces are quite pliable and you can use them on all shapes. Okay, here we go. Here's the girl on the bicycle. Nice clear image. And here's the sketch of the street scene. If you move it up and you see a piece that could use a little bit more, you can lay it back down. That's another advantage of that tackiness. It doesn't slide off as you move it. So you can move it from one side until you're happy with the image you're getting. And if you want a little bit more underglaze, you just keep at it until you're satisfied. And there you go. That's it.